All right, everybody, welcome back. We're doing another deep dive today, and I'm really pumped for this one.
Yeah.
Because we're tackling something that I see all the time.
Oh, yeah.
All over the internet.
Yeah.
And, I feel like everyone's talking about it, but nobody's really sure what's going on.
Right.
And that is intermittent fasting and the myth that it slows your metabolism.
Yes.
So that is what we are diving into today.
Buckle up.
Yes, buckle up. And the video that we are going to be referencing is called Does Intermittent Fasting Destroy Your Metabolism? AI Dietitian Exposés.
Wow. Provocative.
I know, right? It
Yeah.
sounds like we're about to really debunk some stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think the video does a really good job of kind of setting up this myth and then knocking it down.
Yeah.
But before we get too far, I think it might be good to sort of level set.
Okay.
And talk about metabolic flexibility.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of that?
I have heard of that.
Okay.
I don't really know what it means, though.
Okay, yeah. So basically, metabolic flexibility refers to your body's ability to switch between different fuel sources.
Okay.
So, we can use either glucose, which comes from carbohydrates, or we can use ketones, which come from fat.
Right.
And so metabolic flexibility is kind of like having a hybrid engine.
Okay.
You can seamlessly switch back and forth.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
The more metabolically flexible you are, the better your body is at burning fat for fuel.
Gotcha.
Which can have all sorts of benefits for weight management, blood sugar control, even energy levels.
Okay. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's what we want.
That's what we want, exactly.
So this myth that IBS slows your metabolism, how did this even become a thing?
Well, it's funny how these things kind of take root and spread.
Yeah.
So there was a study back in 2016.
Yeah.
And it showed some evidence that intermittent fasting might lead to a slight decrease in resting metabolic rate.
Okay.
But this was a very small study. It was short, and the results were really taken out of context.
Okay.
But unfortunately, the internet being what it is,
right.
This kind of got picked up and amplified by a lot of influencers.
Of course.
And, it became this sort of widespread belief that IF was going to tank your metabolism and make it impossible to lose weight.
Yeah. So one little study can really throw everything off.
It's amazing how that happens, right?
Yeah.
But thankfully, science doesn't stand still.
All right.
And there's been a lot more research done on IF since then.
Yeah. The video highlighted a 2024 Harvard study.
Yes, exactly.
And that kind of debunks all that.
So this Harvard study looked at the effects of IF on metabolic flexibility.
Okay.
And what they found was really interesting.
Okay.
So instead of slowing down metabolism, they actually found that IF improved metabolic flexibility.
So it's the opposite.
Yeah, it's like IF is putting your body's hybrid engine through a training program.
I like that.
Yeah.
Keep going with that.
So it's getting better at switching between fuel sources.
Yeah.
And this is really promising because it suggests that IF could actually help us become more efficient at burning fat.
Okay, so for years, people thought it was bad.
Yeah.
And now we're finding out it might actually be good for our metabolism.
Exactly.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's a pretty big shift in our understanding of how IF works.
So for someone who's just trying to understand IF,
right.
aside from, this myth being busted,
yeah,
what does this actually mean for them?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway is that IF isn't necessarily going to damage your metabolism.
Okay.
In fact, it might actually improve it.
Okay.
And so this means that, if you're considering trying, and you don't have to worry about it slowing down your metabolism and making it harder to lose weight.
Right.
In fact, it might even make it easier.
Okay, so we know that it doesn't wreck your metabolism. It might actually be good for it. But I'm remembering that the video also mentions that some people actually gain weight with IF.
That's true.
So how is that possible?
Well, IF is not a magic bullet.
Right.
And there are a lot of factors that can influence whether or not you lose weight with IF.
Okay.
So things like your underlying health conditions.
Okay.
How you implement IF.
Right.
Are you eating in a calorie deficit? Are you...
Right, are you overeating?
Exactly. Are you overeating during your eating windows?
Right.
And then, there's also individual variability.
Okay.
Some people just respond better to IF than others.
So some people might have a harder time, keeping it within a certain window or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I think that's why it's really important to, not just jump into IF blindly.
Right.
Talk to your doctor.
Right. Consult a professional.
Exactly.
Totally.
Make sure that it's right for you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then, if you do decide to try Vive, make sure you're doing it in a way that's sustainable for you.
Okay, cool. So the video also mentioned some beginner-friendly fasting windows.
Yes, they did.
What were those again?
So they recommend starting with a 12-hour fasting window.
Okay.
So this could be something like, 8 p.m. to 8 a.m.
Okay.
Which is basically just extending your overnight fast a little bit.
Right.
And then as you adapt, you can gradually increase to like a 14-hour or 16-hour window.
Okay.
But, the key here is to listen to your body.
Right.
And adjust based on your needs.
Okay.
There's no one-size-fits-all approach to IF.
Gotcha.
So it's really about finding what works best for you.
Okay. Awesome. So we've officially busted the myth that intermittent fasting wrecks your metabolism.
You did it.
We did it.
High five.
High five. And it actually might even supercharge it.
It might.
So the key takeaways here are metabolic flexibility is key.
Yes.
Results vary. And talk to your doctor before you make big changes.
Always.
So just to leave you with a final thought, if this myth about I turned out to be false, what other health truths that we just take as fact might actually need a second look?
Ooh, that's a good one.
So keep questioning, keep exploring, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.